Hello everybody, and welcome to another Dicey review. My name is Bryson.
And I'm Josiah.
And this time we're reviewing Blokus by Very Games.
So this game basically revolves around placing different shaped pieces of all sorts onto a board of just grid-like squares, and basically you start in one corner and you're working your way towards the middle, and you can only place your pieces on so that they're touching the corner of another of your own pieces, so they have to connect, but they can't be side by side. And so basically you're kind of working around your opponent's pieces and trying to get as many of them on the board before you run out of options.
Yeah, this game does require a little bit of mathematics and some planning, that your opponents just don't screw you up and that you don't screw yourself up by placing a block wrong or something like that.
So the age range is 7 up, and it's for 2 to 4 players, but we definitely recommend going with the 4 players, because with 2 players you have to play as 2 separate colors and kind of play them against each other, and it just makes the strategy even harder, and just it's not as much fun. So it's definitely a 4-player game.
Yeah, so pretty much you just continue doing that for the rest of the game, and you just replace and you just place and place and
it's very repetitive. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we're on to the review part of the video.
As to the time, the game probably takes between 20 and 40 minutes depending on how fast you're able to strategize. It's fairly straightforward and simple. It's just getting all the pieces out there takes a while.
So the price of this game, it's actually pretty good. Between 20 and 30 bucks is the usual, depending on where you are. But yeah, for 20 bucks, it's a pretty good deal on a board game.
Yeah, and I mean the quality is pretty good. My one frustration was that the pieces don't sit well on the board, and they do tend to kind of pop up and shift around, so trying to make sure they stay put, it can be annoying. But like the pieces are solid, thick, and the board is nice. But yeah, they just don't seem to stay down properly, which is really annoying when you're playing and one of the pieces just pops up and you're not quite sure where it went. It's terrible.
So, like we said before, this game is for 7+, which seemed a bit young for me, but yeah,
I agree.
Just the fact that you can play with your older children makes sense, and it makes it a better family game.
Yeah, I definitely think this game is aimed at children. Although it is a strategy game, it just seems like older audiences won't enjoy it that much. But if you look at it as a game that's aimed for younger children, probably the 7 to 10 range, I think that makes it a lot of a better game. As to replay value, I don't think this game actually has a lot of replay value. It's very simple, and even though it's a strategy game, there just isn't a lot. There isn't a lot you can do with it. You're placing pieces on the board. You've got only so many options, and it's just, yeah. I think after probably 3 or 4 times through, you're just going to be bored with it already.
Yeah, I really agree. You can put some strategy into it, and using the same strategy over and over. That did work for you last time, but it won't work for you this time because your opponents are like, oh, I'm going to block that, or I'm going to do this, but hence the name.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, there's not a lot of replay value here, guys. Not much. Yeah.
Now for the expansions / the spin-offs, or whatever you want to call them. There are a few different versions to this game. There's a giant version which just expands the board, which I guess would expand in time as well. And then I guess they know that people were complaining with the 2-player version, so they did make a 2-player game where there's only 2 colors, and you start near the center of the board. I haven't played it before, but it seemed to fix a lot of the things that playing with 2 players just sucked at.
They've also got a version that uses triangles instead of squares, which looked kind of interesting, I suppose. If you like the game, then it's a neat little spin-off. There's also a really cool 3D version based off of an old Mayan game, which looked really neat, actually, and not really sure how the mechanics of that game work, but maybe we'll buy it and show you guys some other time.
Yeah. Now into overall rating. I guess I would rate this game at a 5.5 blocks out of 10, but it just wasn't my kind of game. I love math and everything, but this game, just the repetitive nature to it, the fact that you don't really do much, and during your off time, which can be longer, especially closer to the end of the game, you just don't do anything. So yeah.
Yeah, I think for overall audiences, I'd only give this a 4 blocks out of 10. Just because, yeah, it's very repetitive and there's not a lot a lot of thought that goes into it, even though it is supposed to be a strategy game. However, if you're buying this game for your kids, younger kids, I definitely think it would get a higher rating because it's definitely aimed at that age group and that audience. So if you're buying this for your kids, then great. I think it's a great game. It's simple, easy to teach, and actually a really cool way of learning a little bit of basic mathematics. But overall, definitely just 4 blocks out of 10.
Yeah, so if you enjoyed this review, please comment below and talk about what you want to see next time or in a future episode. But please subscribe, and until next time, have a great day. See ya.